All right, we are live. I think. Still scrolling. There we go. We're live now. How's everybody doing? It's Nate Wenzel here with Lunch Break with Nate. We got a couple special guests on today. I think you can see them up there in the corners. We got Stephanie Leonardo, who's an attorney. And what's your company again?
Shapiro, DiCaro, and Barak.
All right. And we got Joe Petralia with mortgages. And what's your company again, Joe?
Genesee Regional Bank.
All right. So I think this is all this is working. We're all live here and we're together. And I brought these guys on because you guys are. I've been kind of going over a lot of information about the real estate market and just kind of information I've been hearing from different from my sources. But I wanted to kind of bring in the main sources here and kind of get their perspective on what the market's doing currently. So. A couple items of business that I wanted to do before we get to them, and I want to kind of have them kind of run the show. But a couple bits of information here. So Market Watch, a lot of this stuff is from 24 hours from yesterday. So a lot of these we actually looked at yesterday. So it's 27 listings currently on the market. We had a few more that popped up in the Rochester area. But some of these are carryovers from yesterday. Actually, that says 30. What did it say? 27? Wait, hang on. 27. This has actually changed a little bit. So it looks like there's 18 new listings within the last 24 hours. So it's kind of gone down a bit. But we'll go over that stuff in just a moment. And it looks like we got 7 new properties in the city of Rochester, one in actually Strong neighborhood on Rossiter. So that's a hot little neighborhood right over there by the hospital, a couple blocks from the hospital. So 204.5. Its square footage is 910 feet. 10 feet. That doesn't seem right. That's probably a typo. This is actually a rental. No, is it a rental? No, it's for sale. So 204.5 looks like it's kind of an incomplete listing right now. So the information is not quite that accurate. Got 2 bedrooms and a full bath, and 1 bedroom in the basement. So interesting property. So those of you that are looking over there, I have lots of you guys that I've been talking to. We definitely got those available to go check out. Just give me a call whenever you get a chance. A couple other items of business, and we'll go back to our main screen here. I think I can pop in everybody, right? Yeah, there we go. So Joe's going to go over a couple things about the mortgage process right now. Stephanie's going to go over some information about closings and transactions. Then a couple items of business for me. So I've been reaching out to lots of different people that I work with in the medical field. And one thing that I keep hearing from people now, as opposed to the social distancing measures, is people that have that are able to give blood. Right now is a great time to do it, and they're running short on it. I actually talked to Ashley Goobles yesterday, who's a client of mine, and she's they're super busy over there doing a great job. But definitely those of you guys that can give blood, get out there and schedule appointments for that. However, they are doing that now. I'm not sure with the social distancing how that works. I'm sure there's measures in place to make sure that happens. Also, mutual client of Joe and mine, actually, Bill Donahue. Remember him?
Yes, of course.
So he's actually making masks. He's sewing masks and donating them to people. So really cool, creative stuff that's happening out there for all the people that are kind of at home doing the social distancing, trying to be creative in ways that we can help out each other, and definitely people on the front lines, which is in the medical field and community. And then Justine and I are actually going to be doing. She has a couple clients that work at the acute care for the elderly over at Highland Hospital, and we were talking to them, and they are working insane hours right now, and they are literally there all day long and don't have a lot of options to eat. So we figured that we would partner with a local restaurant. We're figuring out exactly what that's going to be in the next few days, and sales that she has with, as many of you guys know, Justine is a director with Mary Kay, so she does skincare sales, makeup sales, and she's donating 15% of her sales to Mary Kay, or sorry, not to Mary Kay, but to help out her friends or customers over at the acute care for the elderly at Highland Hospital. So Really cool. I also want to put together something as well. So I'm going to send you guys out. I'm going to post a link to a Venmo site, which if you guys want to donate to help out these healthcare professionals, you can click on that and we'll put everything, 100% of it. We're not going to do GoFundMe because GoFundMe takes a cut of that. So we're going to do 100% of anybody that clicks onto the Venmo site. We'll donate that for getting everybody meals over at Highland or at the acute care for the elderly at Highland. So if you guys know of anybody else that's looking for help in that area as well, definitely put them in contact with me and I can facilitate connecting with the right people. But with this, I want to give this, I guess we'll start with, what do you guys suggest? We start with Joe or Stephanie on?
Let's start with Joe.
Okay, let's start with Joe. Joe will tell you a little bit about the how the mortgage process is working right now. I know we talked last night, and there's some new stuff that he wanted to talk to you guys about. So let's throw it over to Joe.
Sure, thank you. Reporting live here from the presidential bunker, as you can see.
Yeah.
And really, as Nate alluded to, the mortgage process has changed a bit, especially when it comes to meetings. Of course, face-to-face is preferred, but we ideally have to shift away from face-to-face in this environment. So at the moment, we're doing a lot of Zoom meetings just like this. We are, of course, using the phone as much as we possibly can to have audio conversations. So that's been the first big change for me. Secondly, of course, would be the process itself. So typically once someone has an accepted offer and the bank then schedules the appraisal, that whole process has changed quite a bit as well. So traditionally, an appraiser will walk into a property and give their thorough interior inspection. But given this whole health crisis, we want to kind of keep people out of homes, of course. So this just came down the pike maybe 3 or 4 days ago that an appraiser who, I guess a client, I should say, who's using a conventional mortgage, a Fannie Mae mortgage, the appraisal can be simply an exterior inspection of the home or an outside inspection versus having to have the appraiser enter the property. So that's a huge change. It's going to help move things along in the mortgage process. Secondly, here at DRB Genesee Regional Bank, we're open for business, so we haven't slowed down a bit. We're taking new applications. We're doing our best to work through existing clients that are in the mortgage process. And then another hot topic is those that are losing employment or have lost employment. What we're trying to do is reach out to all of our clients that are currently buying, and just get a feel for what their work situation looks like and work through these loans as quickly as we can, just to structure them in a way where if someone has lost their job, we can either use the other person on the loan potentially as the individual borrower, or we can add a co-signer of some sort. So we're just being creative and making sure we can get everyone to the closing table as quickly as possible. And that's pretty much my piece.
Okay, so going back to the appraiser piece, so they would just use the pictures inside, or would they need additional pictures from the seller to be sent over to them, or how is that all going to work?
Yeah, so the rule that I've seen doesn't reference any sort of interior work. It simply says an exterior inspection will be performed. Again, it has to be a Fannie Mae mortgage, which is under the umbrella of conventional mortgages. Okay.
And then you may have touched on this, but I may have missed it. So the employment factor. So people have to be employed. If let's say the week of you get you lose your job, but you're probably going to get hired back in a couple weeks. How does that all work?
Right. Yeah. So that's where it becomes kind of a harsh reality. So if you are on a furlough or laid off or what have you, we want to use your income to qualify. We need to see or know when your return date will be, which I know is extremely hard right now because there's just so much uncertainty. So if we don't know the exact date you're returning to work, we then have to restructure the loan essentially, which means if we have two borrowers, can that other borrower who is employed currently qualify for the mortgage, and or can we bring in a co-borrower, a relative, another person involved with the property to take that person's place that's become unemployed recently.
Now, on the flip side, we do have addenda that we're working with right now on our contracts, and they look like this. This is the COVID, it's called the agreement to purchase sale agreement, COVID-19 conditional delay. So that's another thing that we can use that a lot of people are putting onto the contracts right now for people that are purchasing houses. these are being uploaded with a lot of our listings, and they're just a way for us to extend the life of the contract, or not inevitably, but in case we need to use it, it automatically goes into effect and it extends it for at least 30 days at that point. So that's something that
good point. Yeah, and I've actually seen the last maybe 3 contracts that I've seen have been 70 to 90 day closings versus the traditional 45 or so.
Right.
With that in mind, to account for some extra time for working through some things and us all adapting to the current environment. So it's a good practice for sure.
Right. And that's something that falls on the agent's shoulders to make sure that we're educating our sellers and our buyers about extended time frames, so that we can account for some of these things that may come up. So again, it's just kind of us being proactive and making sure we're crossing our T's, dotting our I's when we're doing the contract initially. So cool. On my Facebook live feed, for some reason I can't see questions. So let me, if you guys just indulge me real quick. I'm not sure if there's anybody on here answering questions, but if there are, definitely I'll go back and I'll sift through and I can connect you guys through email. If you guys have any additional questions, or I can respond to you, I can do that as well after we're done with the Facebook live feed. For some reason, I can't see that on here when I do it this way, when I share the screen. So maybe I can work on that for future videos. All right, so let's go on to Stephanie.
Hi.
So Stephanie, let's make you the spotlight video here.
All right, thank you.
And
so
yeah, how's your process changing, and what are you doing proactively to for transactions currently and into the future?
Yeah, so the beginning process hasn't changed too much. Most of the time we connect with people over the phone to review the contracts and kind of go over things initially. What has changed is obviously our closings. We're trying to make sure that we're abiding by whatever regulations are in place and the orders that Governor Cuomo gave us. So we have been conducting closings virtually and via video conferencing, Zoom, and FaceTiming with clients. Part of one of the executive orders that Governor Cuomo put into effect does allow video conferencing for notarizing documents. And speaking with our title companies that are offering title insurance as part of the transaction, most of them are allowing us to notarize documents. They're still willing to offer title insurance. So we have been coordinating and being creative and trying to make sure that the closings are taking place virtually. Attorneys aren't necessarily known for being creative, so it has been interesting just trying to coordinate, make sure people are getting the documents, that we're able to explain everything to them via video conferencing and notarizing the documents in that way. The other big change that we have seen is relating to that same title insurance issue. Some of the county clerk's offices have closed, and some do not allow e-recording or are backlogged, allowing e-filing of documents, including the deeds and the mortgages. So that has also presented some challenges, but most of the title companies that I have been speaking with are allowing to hold documents in escrow pending the county clerk's office's reopening. That's something that is common downstate in New York City. So there's not really much of a challenge, just kind of a change of way of doing things up here. Most title companies, though, are familiar with that because they do have deals downstate where they offer title insurance. So we've found ways around that as well. And just kind of working with other attorneys' offices too, and trying to ensure that we're all on the same page. And that has been great. I've been able to work with quite a few offices and coordinating, and all have really been willing to pitch in. So that's been a huge help.
Okay. So locally, in the counties that we're concerned with, Livingston County, Monroe County, Ontario County, so Wayne County, all those areas, are they all, they're all still open right now or no? The county clerk's office?
So many of them, the main one right now that's not open is Genesee County, actually.
Okay.
And they do allow e-filing, but they're not accepting documents at this time for e-filing. So the title companies are holding those documents, and they are insuring from the closing date through the actual recording date and hanging on to that stuff. There is a slight fee for most title companies to e-record. It depends on which title company you're using. And we're kind of working out which party is going to bear that cost. Some of it may be on the buyer side, some on the sellers, and we're working that out on a case-by-case basis. But Monroe County is not accepting any in-person recordings, but we are able to e-file so that there's no change as far as that is concerned, other than a slight fee for recording those documents electronically.
Okay, and then so how would a typical closing look like today if we had something scheduled for on the books?
So I actually have one tomorrow where we're representing the bank and the buyer, and so we have set up a Zoom conference call with him.
Much like
We've
this
already
right
got
here.
like this, exactly. We've already sent out the documents. We printed them all out. I have been sticky tabbing everything, the sign here, and just sending the package out via overnight FedEx. When they get the documents, I will review them via video conferencing. We've actually scheduled the time for 3:00 tomorrow, so that way we know for sure that's when the closing is going to take place. I'll video conference with him, have him sign the documents. They do have to take a picture of any documents that have to be notarized, and they have to actually email me a version of that. So I will have them take a picture, email me the version. I include an envelope with a FedEx label in it. They'll then FedEx docs back to me overnight at my house. I'll notarize them, and then I will send them to the title company for recording. So there is a little bit of a delay as far as the seller getting their proceeds and things being recorded right away, but we're working through it. And most attorneys that I've been dealing with are understanding and are okay with that.
Awesome. So we're looking at just an extended amount of time for recording. So
exactly.
We're looking at a week, 2 weeks. Have you guys?
No,
really
not even that. Like a couple days. Yeah.
Couple days.
Yeah.
Okay,
no.
cool.
So it just I closed 2 deals on Monday, and one went through yesterday, and one's going through today. So it just depends on the circumstances. So I imagine Monday's closing will probably be good to disperse proceeds and do that sort of thing no later than Tuesday.
Awesome. That's good. So I would say, based on all of our conversation here today, stuff is still moving forward. We're still doing transactions. We're working through the transactions that we have going right now, and we have systems in place. You guys are both considered essential at this point, correct? What the governor says you guys are essential. Yeah. So realtors are still considered non-essential at this point. So we're doing our best to hang out, right? Yeah. But we're doing our best to make sure that we are being creative. We're doing Zoom showings. We're doing all kinds of stuff where we can make sure that we're putting our best foot forward to showcase our listings. We're doing a lot more pictures of items that might be considered. If you have an older furnace in a listing, so we would make sure that we're highlighting that. We're highlighting items in a house that we're being completely transparent about the house. I do the Dream Home virtual tour, so that you get a nice 3D version of what your property is and floor plans, and you can cruise through it and make sure you can see all the little corners and stuff in the house. So really cool technology that we're using as we're rolling through this new era that we're in right now. So I'll kind of leave it at that. I do know that the managers around our area for the real estate companies, they're all meeting this morning, and I believe going to be having a conference call, or they're not meeting, but they're having a conference call this morning. And I think they're going to be talking with Greater Rochester Association of Realtors as well. And so there's supposed to be something coming down the pike this afternoon as far as an announcement is concerned for our I think mostly geared towards realtors. So as soon as I hear that stuff, I'll make sure I get on the line and tell everybody about it. Because I know I'm working with tons of clients everywhere right now that are just kind of, they're sending me stuff, and I'm calculating everything and making sure that I have the best, most up-to-date information for viewing these properties. So that's where I'm doing today, and I have a bunch of people I'm following up with today for that. Any other final words, you guys, on just kind of what you guys can provide, and to make sure that we're doing this as proactive as we can?
Yeah, just if there are, any sort of ways in which, as an attorney, I can help, whether that be with final walkthroughs or even just, inspection challenges. I'm always here to assist with crafting language and any addendum, or trying to come up with some other way that we can still make sure that the transaction moves forward. So
awesome.
Whatever it is you need, I'm here.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. And here likewise as well, just accommodating to the current environment, changing the way we're doing business, obviously more technology heavy. So we're just trying to navigate this all together and make sure that we keep home buyers and sellers happy during these turbulent times.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys both for meeting up with us today. Did you want to share any contact info? Maybe you guys can respond to the Facebook event and put your contact information in there in case anybody wants to reach out to you directly. Any social media handles you guys have too, maybe just respond to that event because this is Facebook Live or Facebook Live plus Zoom. So everybody's gonna be able to see this now, but it also will be saved to my page, to Joe's page, and to Stephanie's page. And I'm also going to upload it onto my YouTube channel as well. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining Lunch Break with Nate as I am drinking coffee for my lunch today. So you guys all have a great week.
Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Yes.
You guys all have a great rest of your day. We'll be in touch tomorrow and make it a good one. Stay healthy. Thank you for the opportunity for being able to talk and work with you guys. And you guys, thanks
so much
for stopping by.
Likewise, Nate. We do believe you're essential, man. We love you.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. You're essential, man. Bye.
Thanks, buddy. See you.